Today on Locked On Red Wings, Cam Talbot comes up clutch and Alex DeBrincat completes the comeback.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Scotty, the Detroit Red Wings were down 3-1 with less than 10 minutes left to play against the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday afternoon. But before that game ended, they walked away with a victory 4-3 in overtime. We're going to talk about that game. We're also going to talk about the recall that was made Sunday morning, as well as a preview of the New Jersey Devils game that's going to be taking place on Monday. Before we can get to any of that, I got to let the people know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. All right, Scotty. Red Wings are 4-3 overtime winners over the Columbus Blue Jackets to remain atop the Atlantic Division in what is just a cutthroat, tight race in the Atlantic and Eastern Conference in general. What is the main storyline from that victory on Saturday?
Well, this is why, you told me before you hit your record, you were like, I don't even want to know, like, your storyline. I want to wait. And I was like, well, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm like breaking the rules and making too generalized of a statement here, but like very obviously this biggest storyline in this game is just a huge comeback. Like that's literally, I know it's very layman and like that's very that's very broad, and we can obviously and we will talk about individual players and situations in which like aided them to the comeback, but this is one of the few times this season where there has been as dramatic of a comeback as this one. And we're not even to American Thanksgiving yet. We're a couple days away, but like it's still, the first little over a quarter of the season, first third of the season. Like there's plenty of time left. There's plenty of time for theatrics and dramatic finishes and whatnot. But like this was really one of the first games where the Wings kind of got punched in the mouth early. They fell down, and then there was a complete turnaround kind of on both ends of the ice. I guess turnaround maybe isn't the right way to word it for the offense. They, continued to apply pressure in the second half of the game like they have been. But there was definitely a little bit more of a not like suffocation. I'm not trying to make like Columbus still scored in the third, but there was definitely a little bit more of a game plan to be aggressive on. We talk about all the time forecheck, etc., and it led to goals, and they got at least the loser point going into overtime, and then they score and complete the comeback as a whole. So. Yeah, man, like this again, super simple, kind of like cheating a little bit, but I don't know how the biggest storyline of this game from the entire fan base is not just that was an incredible comeback.
Yeah, I mean, I had to go back and watch the game on replay later Saturday night because I was out at my dad's, my mom and my dad's during the game. I was helping my dad put a dust collector together. I had the phone like on the stream on, listening to the game. But then they scored the 3-1 goal, and I was like, it's over. Like, it's 3-1 with 10 minutes left. I did the thing. I closed the app, and I was like, let's just focus. And then I checked my phone like 10 minutes later.
Let's focus on the dust collector. Let's focus on dust collector. Let's lock into dust collecting.
Locked on dust collectors. It was a Laguna, for what it's worth, if that means anything to you. But
it means nothing to me.
I checked my phone 10 minutes later, and I'm like, oh, it's tied. So of course I opened up the app and put the stream back on. And when I went back and I watched the game later that night, I was surprised because of the fact that, and I agree with Todd McClellan, he said it in the post game, that while there were stretches where Columbus just like really had the offensive zone, and it would be like a minute and a half sequence at a time, I actually thought the Wings played a pretty good game and I mean that because when they got in the offensive zone themselves, they had a lot of opportunities. Greaves was playing phenomenal in net. He made so many great saves on Emmett Finney in particular, who had like 3 shots right there because the Red Wings were going to the net in this game and they were generating opportunities. Like if they continue to do that, they're not going to get goaltending saves like that every single game. Going to the net like that's going to lead to more success. So while they were down 3-1, I don't necessarily think that they were playing so poorly that they deserved to be dominated. I thought it was a pretty solid game from both teams. So obviously the comeback is cathartic, and it felt like going into that last 10 minutes of the third period, I go, it's another game where the Wings play pretty good and they don't score any goals because this team cannot score. And then finally the dam broke. Yeah. So the comeback's obviously the main storyline of this hockey game. For me, it's what made the comeback possible in my mind. That's the main storyline, and that is Cam Talbot making the save of the game. We talked a lot about John Gibson in the last episode and about how he makes the save, like the easy saves. But when you need him to make a clutch save, he hasn't been able to do that this season. And that's been an ongoing trend with the Red Wings goalies the last few years. Cam Talbot in this game made the hard saves. He made the clutch saves when you needed it. And because he made that clutch save on another shorthanded breakaway, the Red Wings were able to come back down the ice and tie the game. It kind of is an exclamation point on the conversation we were having the other day where they might not lose you the games, but they're not winning you the games either, the goaltending. That was a situation to me where Cam Talbot won you the hockey game. And I think the Red Wings agreed with that as well because after DeBrincat scored, 75% of the players on the bench went to Talbot, not DeBrincat, because they knew if Cam Talbot doesn't make that clutch save, it's 4-2, and the game is over. So getting those kind of saves, like that is the storyline. And it wasn't the only big clutch save he made. There was another one. Who did he make that clutch save on? It was on Monahan. And Monahan had another opportunity on a 2-on-0 where it was a defensive breakdown. No defenseman around the net. 2 Columbus Blue Jackets. They went backdoor and Talbot made a huge save. Talbot played really good in this hockey game in general. I know his goal saved above expected are about 0.5 in this game. So nothing amazing. But he made not just the saves he should have, but several clutch saves and very good opportunities for the Columbus Blue Jackets. So while the comeback is obviously the storyline, to me, Cam Talbot is that as well because it's not possible without him making that save in that moment, especially on the back of a game where we weren't getting those saves.
Yeah, and I think that point at the end there is the biggest one, right? Like it is, we talk about goal save above expected, and that's obviously a huge stat in today's game, and something that is a great source and resource that is for analyzing goalie performances and whatnot. I think that timing matters as well, and that's something that with Gibson maybe is even more so the case. Like Talbot's been better. Like there's really no other way to sugarcoat it or beat around the bush. Like Talbot has just been better so far in this season, and it's performances like this that kind of highlight that to a borderline extreme level. Even if it's not like the greatest goalie performance in the world, it's timely saves and big saves in the moment that lead you to wins.
Yeah, it's a 9-12 save percentage for him in that hockey game. I know there's been a lot of conversations about how the Red Wings goaltending in general has been pretty poor. I actually don't agree with that sentiment. I think Cam Talbot's actually been pretty solid this season. I think he had one blowout game in particular. He had a 7-2. He had the 5-1 loss against the Montreal Canadiens, and he had a 7-2 loss against the New York Islanders. Those are the 2 real big blowout losses that have really killed his save percentage. But it's back to .899 now on the year, and in a year where the save percentage in the league so far has been below 900, he's been above average, at least average. And these last stretch, I mean, he's won 6 of his last 7 starts. So while John Gibson is struggling, when Cam Talbot's in that, he performs better, and I think the team plays better in front of him because they have that confidence in him. So I think Cam Talbot's actually been pretty dang good.
Yeah, I think that sentiment is more based around A, the expectations of Gibson, and B, the understanding that maybe understanding is too like certain, but I think that the belief is maybe the better word, that if Talbot plays almost every game, like this will not last, just like we saw last season, right? So I think that that's more of where that sentiment comes from, is like a worry about, you know, the second half of the season goaltending, even more so than the performances we're getting right now.
I'm trying to look. Since that blowout loss, he's got a .905 save percentage because he has a 4-1 loss in there as well. But since the 7-2 loss in New York, he's got a .905 save percentage. He's been pretty good for the Detroit Red Wings. Let's head to a break, Scotty. When we come back, we got every single goal scorer to talk about, as well as other players who may not have scored, but had pretty solid games as well. So stay tuned to segment 2 of Locked On Red Wings. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want is to cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NHL tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I recently used Game Time to pick up the Fedorov Retirement Night tickets, and I couldn't have done it without Game Time. Obviously, they use their zone deals to help me save more by picking the section. They show me the seats with the best price in that section, and then they also have the ability to see the pricing up front. No hidden fees at checkout. The price you see when you click on the seat has all the fees included, so it's no shock at the end. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. Scotty talked a lot in segment 1 about the comeback and the big save by Cam Talbot. But how about Alex DeBrincat? What an absolute rocket from the Cat to win the game in overtime.
Man, that short side. That's a tight window, man. That is why you are in the NHL. Like right there, you know what I mean? That's one of those. Sometimes I feel like as viewers, because it is the best in the world against the best in the world, there's no like context of like how much better is this person than the average human, like if they were out there, you know, on the ice. That is one of those moments where it's so impressive it kind of transcends that line of thought, and you're like, what? That is insane. Like that's just something that is such a small window to score on. And not only did he hit it, an absolute, like you said, straight line straight to that window, hit the back of the net and knew it right away. That is why you pay him the amount of money you pay him, and that is why there is an expectation for him to lead the team rather in goals pretty much year in and year out.
Yeah, I didn't think that his line had a very good night. I mean, that Comfort Cat Kane line just is not producing a lot of offense at 5-on-5. They're just, but outside of DeBrincat, they're just not fast enough. And they're not hard enough in the corners. Comfer is pretty good at winning board battles, but those three just as a whole, they need a true center, and there's more to that conversation. We don't have time to get into the second line woes right now. But Alex DeBrincat, like, he's built for those moments, those clutch moments, and he had you put him out there in overtime to score those goals. And he saw a super tight window, short side. Greaves didn't get all the way over the post. That's the thing, too. Like, if you're Greaves, like, you're like, I should have sealed the post. Like, that is, you got to just give credit to the shooter at that point.
You
like, that window.
The post. He bumped into it. Like,
yeah.
Like, there was no space. Like, it's literally just like that. That's where, you know, goal scorers know that window kind of up high in the neck, you know, shoulder areas. Like, you can't literally press your, you know, mask up against the post. So, like, you have a little bit of an opening there, and he took advantage. Yeah.
He should be playing for Team USA. Which, I mean, is probably a little bit of his motivation right now. I mean, he's back to a 37-goal pace after not scoring in the first 9 games.
Right.
So,
yeah, true.
The Red Wings' best players have been their best players this season, and that's been a big reason why they're winning hockey games, because they're not getting anything from depth scoring, and that continues on for Lucas Raymond as well. And honestly, out of every single player in this hockey game, Lucas Raymond is the one who stood out to me the most. He was on another level. And in particular, that first period, I think the Red Wings had a very strong first. I think the first was probably their best period until the second half of the third, when obviously they scored the goals to tie it. But in large part because when Lucas Raymond was on the ice, he was just making opportunities happen. He would constantly be fighting through contact to maintain possession of the puck, to keep the offensive possessions alive. He was finding space, finding teammates for opportunities. He found Emmett Finney, I think, twice in the net front, and Finney just got stoned. I thought Finney played really well in this game as well.
Did Finney lead the team in shots? That would not surprise me.
It would not surprise me either.
I think he did.
He did. Yeah, he did. 5 shots. He led the team. The next closest was Raymond and Larkin with 4. But Lucas Raymond, obviously, got rewarded with a little bit of a lucky redeflection off the linesman, and he made an absolute beautiful move through the legs of the defender to score. I mean, Lucas Raymond, this was as best as, in terms of individual play, not necessarily in stat sheet, this might have been the best game he's had all season. He was everywhere making things happen in this game.
Yeah, and I think that is, like, he's been producing points all year, and he's on an incredible pace all year, but he's been doing that kind of similar to the beginning of last year, I guess. He's been producing all those points without necessarily scoring a ton, but now over the last, 4 games, he has 3 goals. Like, that's kind of been nipped in the bud, and we're seeing him put the puck in the back of the net a lot more, which is not only important just from like a point production standpoint, but also, you know, Cat and Larkin can't score all your goals. Like you're gonna need some sort of goal scoring outside of those two gentlemen. And Raymond obviously is, you know, the best candidate not named Larkin and DeBrincat to accommodate that. So
right, and Emmett Finney, I thought, also had a very strong game. His first game back on the top line. He had a lot of jump and a lot of speed in this game. And
a lot of opportunities.
Oh, my God. And because he goes to the net.
Right.
He loves to be in the net front for redirections and to try and hammer home those rebounds. And honestly, he should have probably had 1 or 2, but Greaves made a couple of really incredible saves in the crease to prevent goals. Like the Red Wings could have been up 1 or 2-0 just by Emmett Finney battling in the net front. I mean, right off rip, right? Greaves made like a toe save on a rebound chance that Emmett Finney had. So yeah, I really liked Emmett Finney back on the top line. I know for a little bit he wasn't bad, but he kind of turned invisible, and so they swapped him on the second line with DeBrincat to try and jolt, because that was when the whole team was going through a scoring drought, and they're trying to jolt the offense. But he looked like he had an extra gear in him in this game, back on the top line. So great game by Emmett Finney. Yeah,
100%. And that's, I mean, again, we keep hammering the point home, but they need as much production outside of like the big 3, we'll call them, as you can get. So,
Moritz Seider as well, multi-point game, both at 5-on-5, and his point pace is back up to the mid to high 40s, I think, at this point. I know there was a lot of people on social media that were like, "Oh no, Moritz Seider's scoring to start the season isn't what it should be." Meanwhile, he's dominating in the defensive zone.
Yeah, dude, but who cares? But
he had the game-tying goal right as the power play expired, so technically it was a 5-on-5 goal. Although it was more of a pseudo power play goal, but regardless, it goes down as a 5-on-5 point. He also had an assist on, was it Chiarot's goal as well, who also had a 2-point game, goal and assist by Ben Chiarot. But Moritz Seider had another dominant game, and man, he's been on a tear all season long. This is the best we've seen Moritz Seider yet, in my opinion, and it's a great thing to see, isn't it, Scotty?
It really is, and you know, I agree with you. I think he's on pace to have pretty comfortably the best year of his career, so hopefully that maintains.
And I mean, I mentioned Ben Chiarot, but he's having a great year too. I mean, we've talked about it. He had a really bad game the game before that, but he's been really good all season long.
Yeah,
he was
he was great in this one too, certainly.
Right. He was a little bit of right place, right time with the goal that he scored. It was a blocked shot off of Kane that came to Ben Chiarot. Still great shot placement.
Right? As you create your own luck a little bit with stuff like that.
Well, yeah, and you still have to place the shot. He still was a great shot placement by Ben Chiarot. And then he got the primary assist in overtime. And then Mickey Redmond was commenting, he's like, "Have you seen Ben Chiarot on the power play all season? Like, much less in overtime." And he goes out there and he makes the most out of it by giving Alex DeBrincat, who burst on the wing and scored the game winner. And then on top of that, like, he played the most minutes out of anyone on the team because of his veteran status when things happen, like Simon Edvinsson being out sick, and so you have JBD in the lineup and you're down a left-handed shot, Ben Chiarot starts double shifting a lot, playing with multiple partners in a game because they're trying to patchwork it to get through the game, and Ben Chiarot's been able to do it. Like, that's always been Ben Chiarot's biggest strength, is his ability to eat a ton of minutes, but he's doing it and doing it effectively so far this season.
Yeah, he had 31 shifts in this game.
Right.
Nobody else eclipsed 30. He had 31, yeah.
So I want to heap praise on guys like Ben Chiarot whenever I can, because we've been, as a podcast and as a fan base, so critical of him in years past, that seeing him have such a strong season is certainly something I want to bring out. And I would love to do it for guys like Andrew Kopp and JT Compher if they could start finding the back of the net. I'm primed and ready to heap praise on them too. So just waiting for those pucks to hit the back of the net.
We can hope.
Scotty, let's head to another break. When we return, we'll wrap up any conversation we have. We got to talk about the recall news as well as the IR news, I guess. Technically, same conversation there, that dropped on Sunday morning. So stay tuned to segment 3 of Locked On Red Wings. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
The NBA.
Very nice, Scotty. Very nice. All right. Anything else from this game you want to cover? Anything that stands out?
Very on brand for yours truly. But I thought the Faceoff game in this one, well, it was interesting. Like, I think it was noteworthy as well, because this was a weird game where the Wings, I thought, were the better team in the Faceoff circle, except for Nate Danielson. Everybody else was good in the Faceoff circle. Dylan Larkin went over 50%. JT Compher went 50%. Andrew Kopp went 6 for 9. That's well over 50. Like, everybody else was at or above, everybody that took, more than just like one face-off because of a kick out or whatever. And then Nate Danielson went 0 for 8. So it's just like one of those things where the Wings, and I think on the night, the Wings ended up with 8 fewer face-off wins than the Blue Jackets. So if you just remove that, you're talking about an even split. But that's something, the reason I continue to harp on it, aside from the fact that it's kind of just like part of my personality now, is the fact that, when we talk about special teams, it is such an important factor in the success for both units, right? It's obviously a big deal if you are on the power play taking an offensive zone face-off. It's just as, if not more important, when you're in the defensive zone taking a face-off. So on the penalty kill, that is. So I think that that's something to continue to monitor, just because Larkin's had a great year in the circle. Everyone else has kind of been hit or miss on any given night. And then now they're trying to enter, Danielson into that mix and get him integrated. And it's been a slow start. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's just rookie struggles, right? I mean,
yeah.
Marco,
I have no worry long term. I just thought it was noteworthy to go 0 for 8
sure.
is certainly something that jumps out of the page at you. That's all.
I mean, I think he had a solid game for the most part outside of that. And the worst Nate Danielson's ever been is invisible. And there's worse things you can do. You can stand out for the wrong reasons.
I think he only played like 8.5 minutes in this game.
But when he did play, I thought he made a couple impactful plays in this game.
For sure.
To give the Red Wings chances. But really, it's just
crazy. He only played 8 minutes and 43 seconds and yet took 8 faceoffs. Like, that's kind of wild if you think about it. But
that is actually insane. A face-off a minute.
Right.
He's not afraid to finish his checks. He gets in the corner. He digs those pucks out.
Sure.
He goes to the net. He plays with pace. Like, it's just a lot of it is just finding your footing.
He had a power play shift or 2 power play shifts in this one as well. So, like, he'll be fine. And I think they already trust him. And we've seen the flashes. What was that, 2 or 3 games ago? We've seen the flashes of what he could be. So I think it's just about getting him acclimated to NHL speed, which it is with every and any young player that breaks into the NHL. So.
Well, and to note, he and Finney both assisted on Moritz Seider's game-tying goal. He did get a point in this game as well. So the face-offs is definitely worth noting, but I thought outside of that he had a pretty solid game.
For sure. Agreed.
As far as we should probably talk, because we were running up against it. I know we probably had more we wanted to talk about with that game, but just these half-an-hour episodes, sometimes things get kind of crammed. Erik Gustafsson has been recalled from the Grand Rapids Griffins because Elmer Soderblom has been placed on IR, retroactive to November 9th. I'd have to refresh myself on IR rules on when that makes him eligible for return. We knew he was banged up. When it comes to the recall of Erik Gustafsson, Scotty, what are your thoughts, man?
I mean, I think it's a depth play. Like, I don't think that's like a hot take. The interesting part is now you swap out a forward for a defenseman and just kind of how that is patched together over the coming games. I think that's really the only conversation here. You hope Elmer is okay. You hope that he can get back sooner rather than later. I think he's made a lot of strides as kind of a productive depth, even defensive, I would say, forward. But I don't anticipate Gustafsson to be like a fixture in the lineup card necessarily while he's gone. There's going to be a lot of defensemen on this team. So that's kind of the only talking point, I guess, with this move is just that they went defenseman for a forward.
Yeah, I think that there's two things to think about when recalling Erik Gustafsson. One is Simon Edvinsson missed the game against the Blue Jackets because he was sick. And without him, you have 2 left-handed shots, I believe, in the lineup because it's Chiarot, Johansson, and then JBD, ASP, Seider, and Hamonic are all right shots. So you need another left shot in the lineup. So Gustafsson provides you that. So if they expect, it could be a just-in-case thing, in case Edvinson's not ready to go on Monday. It could also be an opportunity to showcase him. Gustafsson's a point per game down there in Grand Rapids, at least last I had checked. He's been playing well there. Of course he would, because he is an NHL defenseman who's just playing in AHL because he got pushed out by a rookie.
Yeah. And they've been the team as a whole. Do they have a regulation loss yet still?
Yeah, I think they do. They lost this weekend. I don't know if it was in...
Okay, yeah. So either way, it doesn't really matter. They've been fantastic this year. So
they have 2 total losses on the season, and they've been incredible. Erik Gustafsson, I know the Red Wings have been reportedly shopping him. So for the Red Wings' perspective, this is a backup plan in case of if Edvinsson is hurt, or sick still, you have an NHL capable defenseman who can play left side. And you could showcase him if you want to try and swing a trade to give this player an opportunity to get slot back in every day at the NHL level with another team. So I know there are some fans who are like, I don't understand why they recalled him. They need another defenseman. I'm like, they might need another defenseman. You don't know how sick Simon Edvinsson is. You don't know. Plus, it doesn't hurt to have him on the roster.
You know.
Yeah. I don't know anything. That's the thing. You come on here, you listen to me every day guess. Like that's how it goes. That's what a podcast is. I'm guessing every day. That's the job.
I wake up and just throw darts, dude, and hope that something sticks. Like
that is so true. Like just it's outside the pot. That is so true to my everyday life. As far as like expectations for pairings, my brain would go Mo Ben, Hamonic Ajo, because they like Hamonic, and honestly, Hamonic's been pretty serviceable as a third. You think about what we were putting out there on the third pair last year. Hamonic's been pretty head and shoulders above that.
He's certainly an improvement from that. He had a couple of rough plays in.
And then ASP and Gustafsson in a sheltered role, right? Offensive zone deployments. That's how you used Gustafsson last year. You put him with ASP, or you'll see
split the 2 of those up to. I don't know. We'll see.
Ajo ASP?
Yeah, like I think the way you have it set up is like very obviously offensive minded down there, and you would have to shelter those a lot, and then the second pair would get a lot of minutes, which I'm not sure the 2 of those guys are necessarily equipped, to necessarily have that much responsibility thrown on them. But if you split them up, I don't know, you at least divide and conquer a little bit. I'm not sure.
Well, your other option is you could put Seider with Johansson. You could put Chiarot with ASP, Hamonic,
yeah,
and
they might
Gustafsson.
split up Chiarot and Mo for sure.
Or they could do. I mean, they have had them split up just with Edvinson out.
No, yeah, I know.
Reunite them.
Yeah.
But also, it could just be Chiarot double shifts with everyone again. So either way, losing Edvinson, even though he hasn't been playing great this season, he hasn't been playing as good as he was last year. Still not worried about him long term. But he's been having a little bit of a sophomore slump here. Losing him is still a massive depth. It basically guarantees your third pair becomes your second pair almost immediately. For sure. So getting him back and having him healthy will be a huge win for the Red Wings. All right, Scotty, Red Wings play the New Jersey Devils here on Monday. What do we know about the Devils?
Oh, I mean, there's still a lot of talent on this team. They've had an interesting last 3 calendar years. Has kind of felt like a roller coaster. This is in New Jersey, where the Devils are 13-7-1 as we record this on the year. At home, they are 7-0-1. They have yet to have a regulation loss at home in this season. So it'll be a big game from that perspective, or maybe an uphill battle, whatever you want to say, from that perspective. Have not received fantastic goaltending, but have a really potent offense, and we know there's a lot of talent, obviously with Hughes and Brad. I think already has 20 goals on the year, or 20 points rather on the year. So it's been we kind of know the usual suspects at the top, and I know Hughes is hurt, so we have. That just got announced last week that he would be out for a prolonged period of time. So we won't have Jack Hughes to go up against. However, even without him, it's still a pretty potent offense that is averaging more goals a game than your Detroit Red Wings. So we will see what happens there. But yeah, I think the biggest storyline is just you're playing in New Jersey, and they have yet to they literally 7-0-1 at home this year. So it'll be an uphill battle. Yeah,
they're kind of similar to the Red Wings in a way where they get a lot of shot attempts, but their shooting percentage, they're not getting a ton of goals as consequence, at least at 5-on-5. I should note that at 5-on-5. Their goal share is 31st in the league at 5-on-5. The Red Wings are 28th. Their save percentage is bottom 10 in the league. Their shooting percentage is bottom 10 in the league. They're having they're a team that's bottom of the league in a lot of the statistics that matter, like the actual numbers, right, that impact the game, yet they're winning games despite it. So I think that kind of says a lot about their pure talent level, because they've been unlucky so far, and they're still second in the Eastern Conference. For sure. So I'm taking a peek at their special teams. Let's see where they rank right now. Their power play is 10th in the league, and their penalty kill is... Apologize. I had so many things talking today. I forgot to get this up ahead of time. Great job, Brent.
Just has 6th. A million tabs open.
I do. I'm trying to reduce the amount of memory my internet browser is using in an effort to try and stop the choppiness. I don't think it's working. I did discover that my modem is doing less than 50% of my plan speed. So I would have to imagine that has something to do with the choppiness of my camera. Because when I record locally, like on just my computer, there's no choppiness. It's strictly when I record on this online platform that we use. And you don't have an issue, so it's not the platform. It's got to be my internet.
I have no issues, period. Just that's end of statement,
Press X the doubt. Okay, Scotty. Their special teams is top 10 in the league both ways. So clearly they're feasting in special teams. So if you can hold them off on special teams, you have a good chance of going neck and neck with them at 5-on-5. But of course, the Red Wings struggle to score there as well. Should be a good game.
Yeah. I mean, that's like I said, that's obviously the hope. So,
second and third place teams in the Eastern Conference.
Dang right. Yeah, it'll be a big one, man. That'll be probably a highly watched game on ESPN Plus for the out-of-market people, for sure.
Yes, sir. Scotty, any final thoughts?
We ball.
We do ball. We'll be back with a new episode tomorrow, recapping the game against the Devils. Stay tuned for that. Same time, same place. It's your team every day.